All right. Hey. So I want to talk about this. Let's talk about it. Right? I don't know if you guys understand, or you haven't been watching, or you don't really understand. It doesn't comprehend in your mind and brain about the psychological warfare and the intense torture that is not just done to the Palestinians or anybody in prison in Israel, because it is Israel. And now we talk about hostages and stuff like that, and we know there's more Palestinians in prison, and we also have the example of what they did with the 12 humanitarian activists who were just bringing aid, diapers, and formula for babies. And that is a threat for them. Why? Even if for a lot of you it's like, oh, they knew this was gonna happen. You know, the expectation that a lot of you just like, you expected that to happen, that energy lingering that you guys don't want to admit, right? That one. You need to transform that one into empathy. Do you understand? Saying that this is performative, okay, wow. To all of you in the comments and saying all these, you guys are such cowards, and then you look for excuses to be more of a coward, and then showing it to everybody and thinking that that makes you look smart. Wow. Okay.
Israel has nuclear weapons illegally. Let me explain in 90 seconds. Israel started its nuclear program in the 1950s with the help of France.
The Israelis had built a plutonium reprocessing plant, a nuclear bomb factory. To this day, Israel still refuses to acknowledge its existence.
It is estimated they have 90 nuclear warheads and have the capacity of developing another 400. And they're so advanced they can deliver them by land, air, or sea. To avoid transparency, they're not signatories to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. This way, they can avoid any inspections or accountability. But this is the worst-kept secret in global politics. Yet, Western powers have gone along with it, because Israel, as you know, is their darling.
Crazy about this world. We went to war with Iraq because we thought they had nuclear weapons. But Israel, we've known that they've had them.
So, should a rogue state that is committing genocide, violating international law, occupying countries left and right, and whose leaders are being indicted for war crimes at the ICC, have the most dangerous weapons in the world? For any sane person, the answer is a resounding no. But here we are, gaslit by the West into believing Israel is the victim in all of this, even though they are the aggressor and they're completely out of control.
Why should the world tolerate you having nuclear weapons?
First, again, we never admitted to have such a weapons.
So billions of dollars in revenue from the sale of Congo's cobalt to companies like Tesla are being used to build illegal settlements in the West Bank. Israeli billionaire Dan Gutler, who obtained Congolese cobalt mines through illegal and corrupt means, then sold those cobalt mines to an Anglo-Swiss mining giant known as Glencore. Glencore, in turn, has a deal with Tesla to provide Tesla the cobalt that it needs to produce its electric vehicles. And so you see, Tesla is paying Dan Gutler directly because Dan Gutler receives $250,000 in royalties per day from the sale of this cobalt to companies like Tesla. And this is in a country where more than 60% of the population lives in abject poverty. Dan Gutler invests that money, those royalties, in 2 Canadian-registered construction companies that are involved in building illegal settlements in the West Bank. Dan Gutler is currently under US sanctions, but the Biden administration wants to lift these sanctions because of its irrational push towards the green energy transition, spearheaded by companies like Tesla. And so you see, these billionaire CEOs, these corporations are the policymakers. These corporations hold enormous power and influence in our governments. And that is something we have to realize before we start saying that boycotts don't work. Free Congo.
Quick update from the West Bank, since all eyes are on Iran right now, but the ethnic cleansing did not slow down. In the central West Bank, the series of pogroms continues, with Israeli settlers, army, and police attacking residents in order to force them off their land. Just this morning, there was an attack in the Palestinian community of Jabba when the settlers invaded, beat up a child, and threw rocks. Then the army and the police invaded and started shooting at residents. 3 people have been injured, and 3 more have been kidnapped by the occupation forces. This comes after the complete expulsion of the village of 𝉢𓂀𝆃Liberation in the same region, and after the brutal attack on human rights advocate Rabbi Arik Asherman. In the meantime, in the north of the West Bank, the settlers started constructing a fence around the village of Al-Farsiyeh in order to cut off the village's access to their grazing land. And in the south, in Masafriata, the occupation forces have completely destroyed the village of 𝉢𝓃Liberation, and today they kidnapped human rights advocate Sami Huraini. And across the West Bank, the IOF completely blocked off entrances to Palestinian cities, preventing the village's access to hospitals and preventing movement entirely. Well, for the Palestinians, of course, the settlers are still free to move around as always.
One of the craziest things about watching Iran's retaliation to Israel's pointlessly escalatory attack on Tehran is seeing in real time mainstream media remember that bombing population centers is bad, actually. There's a video going around of Iron Dome rockets scrambling, and when you see where these Iron Dome rockets are launched from, it is literally in the middle of a residential area. The entire base of the IOF is in a residential area. And yet Israel goes around talking about other people use human shields. You literally have your whole army hiding behind your civilian population in your capital so that anyone who strikes back against you when you are a massive destabilizing force within the region looks like a bad guy. And again, this is something Israel does literally all the time. Israel always strikes population centers. I guess it's really true what they say that behind every accusation is a confession. Israel claims to be the most moral army out there when in reality they are a rogue state high on their own unaccountability and determined to drag the rest of us down with them.
You know where this is? This is in the middle of Tel Aviv. These are Iron Dome launchers in the middle of Tel Aviv, surrounded by residential apartment buildings. Also, the Israeli military's HQ is in the middle of Tel Aviv, surrounded by residential apartment buildings. Tell me again, how many times over the past 20 months have we heard that Hamas is using residential areas as military bases, right? Hospitals, schools, all of that. How they're embedding themselves within the civilian population, using them as human shields. How many times have we heard that? They have been using that shit as an excuse to flatten Gaza this whole time. By their standards, those targets in Tel Aviv are legitimate military targets. You can't have it both ways, right? And if you're watching all of this unfold, and you're freaking out, and you're going, oh, pray for Israel, but you haven't been praying for Gaza over the past 20 months, you need to ask yourself some serious fucking questions. Why is it that when you see white Israelis being subject to the same shit that Gazans have been subjected to for almost 2 years now, now is the time that you freak out. Now is the time that you start feeling bad. It's just straight up disgusting, and you should feel ashamed of yourselves, honestly.
You evil sack of fucking parasite. A lot of us, we are, right? Okay. If you think that's performative, then you come into it then. Help us stop an evil Knievel fucking psychopath. And this is empire. This is people who are enjoying watching genocide and killing babies and shatter and massacre. And now they have this like a Hunger Games, like if this is a fucking movie. They think our lives is a fucking movie. Kudos to everybody was going on with the anti-ICE protest. Yeah, that is resistance. What do you mean? Like, you guys are okay with, like, a lot of you is like enabling and accepting abuse because why? The government are committing crimes that are supposed to be illegal, right? So stop doing those things. And then expecting all of us to, and then they're corrupt and doing things that they shouldn't be doing, right? Right. a lot of us, the focus wasn't about, and this is something that I agree with Greta, and I'm glory be to God, that's the first thing she said. I'm so happy she's like, I know. I wish the same thing for all the Palestinians and people that are here that get captured or adopted or kidnapped. This is another thing, interesting word that they wanted to put around there. Why is that? I wonder why they don't want that put out there, because it's the truth. These people, they're like, the truth is like a kryptonite for them. It's like, because they're constantly living on a lie. Satanic diabolical energy, they don't stop lying. They can't stop themselves, and they try. This is inner demonic energy, lying, racism. Another thing that me and Father Guy were talking about, like, racism is such a like, and he was so clear today. It's jealousy in a different word.
Sigo cruzando ríos, andando selvas, amando el sol. Cada día sigo sacando espinas de lo profundo del corazón.
I want people to recognize when they are being baited into debate and being baited into discourse. We hear the stuff about the human shields, and the answer to that should be that even if Hamas uses human shields, you're still the ones killing. You know, even if there are tunnels underneath the hospitals, you're still bombing hospitals and the patients inside them. Even if Hamas is stealing aid, you're still starving people. You know what I mean? It's astonishing to me that an Israeli diplomat could go on TV and say Hamas uses human shields, and I'm yet to hear one journalist say, so what if they use... How does that justify you killing those civilians? How does that justify you targeting these children? And this is kind of the, the genius of Haspara, is these manufactured nuances that puts you in a corner and force you to debate on and on and on and dilute the focus of your initial and more important argument.
In a minute, especially for all y'all who've been making content about the Madeleine. Please help direct that energy, attention, awareness, and support to your brothers and sisters on the ground marching to Gaza. If you are somehow unaware of this, the media is doing its job. There are 2 separate mass civilian convoys on their way to break the siege on Rafah right now. Based on their public trackers, these convoys are estimated to converge in the next 24 hours. MarchToGaza.net expects to hit Cairo tomorrow. We've added the tracker for the Al-Shamoud convoy in our you-know-where. This convoy of steadfastness, organized by North Africans, needs your eyes and attention on them for their safety and success. Put pressure on Egypt so they don't block them, and tag accounts we should follow in the comments.
ICE is trained by the IOF. The NYPD goes to Israel to be trained. The same billionaires funding Cop City in Atlanta are funding AIPAC. Gavin Newsom, the same Zionist who's going to stand up to Trump, is sending more local and state police officers to Los Angeles. The moment you realize these things are connected, you also realize we and our struggles are as well.
A little over a month ago, I was in Malta with the Freedom Flotilla Coalition, volunteering and documenting the process of many of them preparing to sail to Gaza. I also interviewed 𝉢🂀🆃Liberation, who is one of the Madeleine 12 who have been kidnapped by the Zionist occupation forces from international waters. 𝉢🂀 is currently detained in solitary confinement and on hunger strike. Before the flotilla was supposed to set sail, I asked him why he's embarking on this mission to Gaza and why he's willing to take the risk of being attacked by the most violent and brutal army in the world.
Hello. I am a proud father of 1 year, 3 months, and 20 years old. There is a baby girl, baby daughter. She was born under genocide, and during that time, me and my wife, we had to make very tough decisions. My wife is an activist too, and so it's easier because we met like this and we live our life like this, and we fell in love by doing this together. So it's a different way, and actually live a very happy life. Oh my God, that is my safe place. That's where I go to recharge. That's all the happiness that I could think about life. It's there. But whenever we are there, we think that baby's age or my baby are being blocked and being starved to death or dying from cold or having to be amputated without anesthesia, and it breaks our heart every day. And then when I was coming here, me and my wife were talking, I wish we didn't have to do this, but When we were talking, we said if a single baby like Teresa can escape from this hell on earth that is being prepared for them just because they were born of a specific ethnic group and nationality, if a single baby does not face that pain and suffering, it will be worth it. So I'm older, and my baby and other babies in the world, they deserve to have a better life. So it's our duty to take risks to take care of them as well.
We must do everything that's in our power to stop the genocide, end the siege, and demand that the ones detained of the Madeleine 12 are freed, as well as the over 10,400 Palestinian political prisoners, of them 440 children, that are being held hostage by the Zionist occupation.
Israel is absolutely using psychological torture against the kidnapped victims of the humanitarian ship, the Madeleine. 8 of the activists remain in Israel under detention right now for refusing to sign deportation papers. And now at least 2 of them have been placed into solitary confinement. The first was European Parliament member Rima Hassan, who was allegedly placed into solitary confinement after writing "Free Palestine" on her cell walls in the detention center. She was also repeatedly threatened by officers for refusing to sign deportation papers, legitimizing her arrest, with officers saying, "If you don't sign, we will smash your head against a wall." This is how they're treating a European diplomat, mind you. Imagine how they treat Palestinians who don't have a title, who do not have power. Now, it's also alleged that she and other activists were denied sleep and forced to watch propaganda videos by the Israeli military of the events of October 7th. As of a few hours ago, though, it's been reported that she and another French national are slated to make their return to France, though the circumstances behind this are a little unclear. It's unclear if she was forced to sign the deportation documents or not. This situation for the other person put in solitary confinement, though, is much worse. Activist Thiago Avila has been placed in solitary confinement after beginning a hunger strike where he has been told he will remain for 7 days with no access to light, ventilation, anything. He was also threatened by Israeli forces that he would have no contact with anyone from the outside world, not even his lawyer. He has also allegedly been told that his deportation hearing won't be scheduled until July. And that just goes to show how insidious the Israeli military really is. They initially told these activists you would be detained for 96 hours before you face a judge and face deportation. Now they're saying that this man could be in prison until July before he gets his day in court. This is psychological torture, full stop, for trying to feed children.
And I was like, okay, it is. I don't know, and a lot of people are noticing this, like, wow, the white race is really hateful energy. Like, why did they do that? Like, what was the point of, like, why can you work together with the community? Why can they have their land and you coexist with? Why can we have equality? Why can we don't have to pay rent and have free healthcare, free education, free, like, a lot of us people, you guys think like, oh, this is one's too leftist or too radical, whatever you guys call it. I don't know. It's just funny that we find names for things that we in this aspect of our lives don't really understand, but we're trying to understand, so we just follow what everybody is doing. But some of you really need to use your discernment, because not everybody is like, you know, for the movement, all the movement. And also another thing, there's a lot of trade and a lot of sneaky energy. They're trying to take advantage of a fucking people starving to death, induce famine. Like, a lot of you, like, that's why I'm like, yo, the media's not doing the work. Like, we are, like, a lot of you, if not, that's what it is. Like, you guys know, but nobody's doing anything because it jeopardizes some. You know from right and wrong, right? And when you're watching the wrong and diabolical shit, and then you see also the resistance, because that. And then the other thing, looking at the resistance and how to make action, how to communicate, how to unite, and how to create community, how to boycott, how to divest, and learn from each other, and educate each other, and connect, like really connect, like in a certain level, because as some people, we have so many things that we're doing that it's harder to connect with everybody, okay? So just want to make this very clear, okay? Resistance is divine. Okay? especially from abusers, psychotic people who are trying to normalize murdering and butchering children as if they are, what, cattle? What, because they're brown? That is fucked up. And we are allowing that? That's fucked up. How can you look at your children? Like me, I cannot. A lot of you, I don't know how you guys, apathy is like, is a disease. It's just wrong. And we always like, oh, we have to ignore it. But it's like, no, you do something. Otro trago. A lot of you drinking too much. Everything with conscience and everything with moderation. For real. Okay? My goodness. Things are turning. It's just taking time. The Palestinians and the Congo as well and Sudan cannot wait anymore. We need everyone. This is what we're asking. And I feel like it's like we say it like for the past almost 20 months now, and it feels like it goes through one ear and the other. It's like a deaf ear. And nothing is changing, but it's sort of changing. Like now finally we have some sanctions in Canada. Glory be to God, but not the Netanyahu himself, which is kind of like annoying. Just these two other psychopaths. We are fucking demons. Like these people are psychotic, murders in 10 non-stop. These people are fucked up, and they should not be in the streets or anyone around. Like they're in danger to society, because these are leaders, right, used as puppets because they're paid, because they can say no and they can say, you know, stand the right and do the right thing, right? Or, you know, they have something to lose. But I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. These are murderers, people, like, and they enjoy it. They have parties, they dance in they create dance TikToks after they take selfie pictures, right? Right? I'm not here making jokes or trying to get some clout or anything like that from this. Like, this is, my goal is, I like that energy of being a guardian of truth, of maintaining and restoring and creating ways where people can not be so fucking taking advantage of and being dumbasses and falling into a death trap. Death trap, is that how you say it? Whatever how you say it. A lot of you is a karmic death trap, and it's designed, like the system capitalism design is a demonic entity death cult. I don't know how many times we have to say it until like it clicks in a lot of y'all, and it's so sad. This is the deprogramming and the programming that has worked so far. A lot of my people wake up and they start doing the things, and that for me is a success. I see people succeeding, I see people doing their thing and excelling on those things, then I did my job. Don't do things, I don't worship or do things for money, and this is why it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Like, yes, money is needed to survive and pay bills and stuff like that, but just imagine if you can build a world where you have money to saved, that you can have money saved for, and you can, you know, if you buy a house, like it could be affordable and you don't have to pay a lot of things, like rent or mortgage or any of those things. It is a possibility. This is why like it makes you uncomfortable that I'm saying this for some of y'all. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's so sad. You're being indoctrinized, you're being fed lies, you're being completely misled, and you are misaligned. And this only benefits the devil, the satanic energy that lives in this 3D, like a lot of y'all. This is why I educate people about this, because spirituality comes first. We need to understand this, okay? Spirituality comes first, and then the physical. And in what you do in the spiritual realm, it does matter more in the physical, which is hard for people to understand if you haven't been taught this at a younger age, which our gifts and talents are developing, and then they mature when we're older. So, fuck all of y'all who think that performative stuff they're doing, like, come and do it. Go do it. Go do those things, right? Try to stop the siege. Try to stop people being starved by these demonic entities. I dare you. And then obviously show us, you know, join us. We will communicate. We'll never should reject anybody. It's never too late to be anti-Zionist, anti-white supremacy, and anti-racism, and all this stuff. Like, really do the work consistently and consciously as human collective. Like, we're like, yeah, no, I'm taking my power back, and I'm taking my conscious. I'm gonna do things more consciously, and knowing that, okay, even if let me, accountability and vulnerability are part of the colonization as well. The healing energy, you cannot avoid certain things, and a lot of you're trying to skip steps. You cannot, okay? So that's why it's important when you get into this world or understand it, or try to understand yourself. The point is yourself, you, and then everything else. Everything else is just secondary or addition to your journey or to your mission. But if not, it has to go, because it's draining, it's creating some type of chaos. It's created. Now, other people will sacrifice everything for a cause to save another person, to help another person. And a lot of you don't know where it is coming from, like how it is, like, it's just empathy. A lot of people will do, it's not about, because a lot of people are like, oh, they're just going to get clout or to get performative. Like, with what? Like, risking their life. Like, it's either death or what happened, like the deportation and all that stuff. But they were tortured and they were done stuff before they were freed. Now, the guy allowed me to hear the torture chambers and all that stuff. Like, they heard stuff, and this is why it's harder for them to even, like, it's fucked up, right? So you see, like, going against an entity that is trying to annihilate and ethnically cleanse and genocide other people, Palestine, literally Gaza, the West Bank, the North, the South, guys, like, and blocking the aid to feed these people that they are bombing, constantly attacking, bombing tents. And look at all the journalists, like, it's so obvious as fuck, and we're still, like, making what are we doing? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean? We have 19-20 months of evidence. What more could they need? These people are psychotic, sick, and they're trying to spread that parasite sickness everywhere, like making it normalized. Like, a lot of you, there's a lot of shit that should not be legal, right? Now, other things should be, like, you know, protesting and defending yourself and the freedom of speech, right? Those things are here to maintain balance in, right? So this is why a lot of y'all, like, when we say wake spectrum, yeah, a lot of you, as I said, we are in different spectrum, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong, like, oh, you're more advanced. Like, no, it doesn't matter. Just do the work, because it's felt. And if we don't feel it, we know that you're just faking and pretending. Now, others of us, we wish we could do a lot of things, but we have responsibility. We have kids and stuff like that. So we have work to do in the background. That doesn't make us like, okay, boycott is a minimum, but there's other stuff: calling your representatives, sending emails, signing petition, joining communities, talking, volunteering if you can, if you have time. A lot of you know you don't have time. You have like 3 to 4 jobs, 5 jobs. How is that a world like that we can live like that? How is that sustainable? A lot of you never see your families. You never see, like, it's crazy. Like, this is insane. What the hell is this? Why are we okay with a system like this? And why do we feel some type of way when people want the same thing that you want, but you're too afraid to fucking go and get it and go and fight for it? Exactly. Encoding, communicate, intentional vibes. That's right. Thank you, Spirit. I got to go. But I hope this makes sense, because it needs to make sense somewhere. This cycle needs to end with this vicious cycle of, like, you know, the ego, like, trying to normalize something really toxic because you get money out of it. That's something I was looking for, this post that I saw from Francesca, and I was like, yo, she was so right. I for sure was taking off, but she said it like, it's genocide. It's beneficial to you know, make money with genocide. So this is why they don't want to stop doing it, because there's some money, yeah, and it's toxic blood money. Oh, making a confirmation. Did I say 3 times or 2 times? That is important. Okay, dog. Something about a dog. Loyal. A lot of you very loyal, okay? Stay like that. Confirmation. Where is it? Okay, I was like, I can actually feel it come. I hope you hear it's a crow. That is... It's a good thing. Ancestors are taking care, and a lot of you protecting you. Just follow your ancestors. Never forget that the entire entity in the system thinks that if you forget that part, that everything that they can control you, manipulate you, and take advantage of you, and do all the fucked up shit that they do in the background while showing you guys like just the minimum shit and like, yeah, this is what we're really doing. But not really. We have the access, guys. Go check my Telegram. Most of the stuff that you need to know about what's going on, it's there to debunk propaganda too. That's why it's like I'm like, okay, I focus on the truth, I follow the truth, and it is like Father God gives me, that's what it is. No shame in it. That's why I was like, no shame. It just, that's what it is. Using good discernment is mastering discernment. You are able to see through the veil and do better. This is why the entity empires of this thing, they don't really like us, because the truth, it is awakening. It is for you. It's free. It should be free. But compensating the people if it's possible, you know, because they also have to pay bills and have to pay stuff until we change systems, because alhamdulillah, inshallah, glory be to God, it needs to happen. We need to change systems that can be sustainable for everybody, and also not be cruel towards another human, animal, or anything in our planet. Like, really start over, right? And these billionaires liquidate the money and distribute it to everybody, and I think that could cure, and we know this already, it's been posted like forever, that all of that money can stop poverty and homelessness and wars in like a second. Like, technology can make that happen, right? So it's just interesting that these people, for their greed, their selfish needs, and really fucked up needs, guys, because these people, they have the weird shit with kids, though. It's weird. They want to see them dead. They want to do stuff to, like, it's really fucked up. So if I trigger some of it, but a lot of people, like, there's, yeah, the endless winter. Like, winters, that too are the hardest for the Palestinians to survive. Genocide, like, I can't believe, like, we should not normalize this shit. Like, no way. What a sick fucking, like, what the fuck is going on? And a lot of us, that's it. Like, now you're mad at protesting? What the fuck? Aren't you suffering somewhere and financially or something? Oh, so then you're not understanding. You're not in the struggle yet, like everybody else. And even then, if it's you're okay, if you know someone is struggling, why aren't you helping them? See what I mean? I feel like Gaza, Palestine, like, wakes up everybody. Like, wake the fuck up. It can happen to you too, bitch. What do you mean? Wake the fuck up. And what did they do? What did they do? Now they have people to make up being like evil Knievel. They pay them, bribe them, or whatever, and now they become against their own people? What kind of psychological thing is, like, these people are sick? Like, oh my God, I've never seen so much evil. And a lot of you just don't want to accept, like, no, that's not possible. I'm like, it is possible, it's happening. And Rima, coño. We need more women angry, that's for sure. Right, she's right. Rima. Glory be to God. We're praying for you. And for the other guy, the Brazilian guy, Thiago. You guys are strong. Sending you love and strength and healing. And I will never forget Rima writing Free Palestine in the prison. I was just like, oh my God, she is such a... And smiling before she went in prison. Because she's like, yeah, I've never been to Palestine, but at least I get to be there in prison, like in the land. I can put my feet in, like, yo, that's love. That's true love for your land, for your home. You don't understand it. She doesn't understand. She's never been there, but her blood is calling her. It's DNA. A lot of you guys, you are called to do something. Do it, because there's consequences for it. Very heavy karma. A lot of you, like, trust me, you think this is bad? Wait for it. Do the right thing. A lot of you are supposed to be doing different things. You know what it is. I love you. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, and free all the other people. I said what I said, yeah.